Hello again. In this video presentation, I want to highlight how numerology can provide insight as a guidance given the planetary year's vibrations, the calendar year's vibrations from the numerological knowledge. If you look to the year 2020, our current time frame, and you look to the mathematical number of 2020, what many of us probably may not have been aware of or may not have even have realised is that when you find within a component such as the calendar year, now the calendar year, you have to bear in mind, carries a different weight in comparison to a month. The monthly phase itself is just for the duration of the month, isn't it? It's like 30, 31 days, or February, leap year, 28, 29 days. And the 24-hour day, that's just for, that vibrational time frame as well, given the number vibration of the day. So the day's phase is a short term for the 24-hour. The monthly phase spans the whole time frame of that month. But the year is different. The calendar year carries a very stronger weight, if you like. It's a fixed position in our calendar year, of course, in this regard anyway, from this regard. I'm not speaking about our personal birthday years, that's different. But with the calendar year, what we're really looking at is the global year's planetary vibrations. Now, what stood out to me with this time frame of 2020 is the doubling up of the two, the repetition of the two. Whenever you find a numerological component of a mathematical equation or the component itself, look for any repetition, especially in the year. If it's your birthday time frame with your birth chart, then you want to consider your date of birth, that number vibration. For example, it might be, what if you're born to a one life pathway, the full sum total of the date of birth. But what if your 9-year major chapter of your major personal cycle, of the pinnacle cycle, is also a 1? Then that's where you've got the doubling up taking place. So not only do you have that fixed point of reference from birth throughout the duration of the whole life of the number 1 life pathway is your major pathway in the life, a supportive guidance with that knowledge there and that meaning. But for the age that you're at, from the point of time when you reach that birthday year through to the 9 years duration and completion of the whole 9-year major pinnacle cycle, and when that's the same number as your life pathway, then you've got the doubling up, you see. So what the point I want to make here is this: when you see a doubling up of identical number vibration, only with respect to what I'm speaking about here, and that's time frame, like a measurement of time, day, month, year, or your major 9-year cycle, pinnacle cycle, or your birthday 12-monthly phase. What if your birthday year's a 1 birthday year and you're in a 1 pinnacle? You've got to look at these things. So wherever there's a repetition, there's an emphasis, and it denotes a challenging phase. That's the point I wish to highlight here, just for your knowledge and your awareness. When you calculate your own time frame, your own chart, or such as what we're all witnessing and seeing in the world around us, of the global events that are outside our control. So the double 2 becomes emphasized in its higher message and guidance and the knowledge. 2 on its own, the pure single digit number 2, all of its own, you can't really interpret that unless you know from what position of your chart you're interpreting from. we can't be too generic, you see. We've got to be mindfully aware of that. For the most part, you tend to think, oh, okay, the 2 in the numerology aspect, so it's about relationships, it's about family, it's about how environment will bring and unite others together. It's the pathway of peace, of reconciliations, and it's a supportive pathway. And so if someone's within the 2's time frame, then they're learning to approach their situation and that duration of that time frame with those positive strengths and qualities, you see. They're being called upon from within themselves, of their self, to communicate and express those positive strengths and qualities. Now, that's not always easy for everyone to do, when is it, when you think about them. But they are the positive qualities. And that's the higher message of numerology here. And that's what everyone's witnessing in the world around us. Now, the doubling of the 2 also reveals a disruption, an unexpected disruption to the flow of the affairs, of the life even, in unexpected ways, of course, sudden, unexpected. So you have to ask yourself the question, well, in what way can this potential of a disruption eventuate and for and why, So therefore we look to the total sum of the whole planetary year number vibration, which is the 4. Now 4 deals with the economic structure, the economic foundations, the core living needs, your workability, your commitment to a task, to see something through. And the 2 wants us to be supportive and to unify together and for sharing as well. So there's the resources that we're sharing, there are the services of the 2 services that we're coming together in a unified way, in a loving, supportive, considerate, respectful way to help the situation and the events of circumstances that are taking place within this planetary year's vibrations. And the 4, of course, with its economical knowledge there, or the finances, the financial needs, you see. So there might be support, you see, where we have to call upon additional support to help the current trend of events of the time frame as to what the circumstances are reflecting in one's own personal life, as well as others within the globe. So when you think about the planet, no matter who we are or where we are, we're all sharing the planet. We're all part of the journey within the planet, within this vibrational time frame of 2020. For some, there'll be a greater need to put out that personal effort, you see, in seeking the support that they need, either in terms of employment or the funding that they might need, or even to walk away and let go of what once was so familiar, but now circumstances showing through the disruptions of the unexpected events of circumstances that there are now delays and there are setbacks. Often when you see the doubling of the 2 in a personal time frame or in this planetary year's time frame, it can reveal a need to withdraw, to retreat, to go within, and to step back and to evaluate and restructure and reprioritise and revise that which is really a priority of importance, considering what's going on. And so with that doubling of the 2, of course, you've got to think about, well, there's support that you may need to offer, additional support that was being called upon from within one and the community as a whole. And so there are the professional services, the community support, there's those organisations for structure and stability. So when we see the disruptions happening, well, of course, there's disruptions to the economic foundations of one's own structure or one's own personal life, and of course that can be most unsettling. because of the changes there. So an event's brought about through outside one's control. So this is where we have to come together. We're called upon to come together in terms of loving support and to share and to be respectful and considerate and go with the flow, if you like, rather than fight it or resist it or go against it, but work within the parameters of the limitations and restrictions that are being imposed upon us. Now, when you think about your own personal situation, there are those limitations that can come about that are self-imposed, perhaps the beliefs or the thoughts or the patterns, of past are now showing, well, hang on a minute, I can't continue how I once was doing things. I now have to be a little more cooperative, supportive, and think about others, not just about self. And so, and this is all that I speak about is all there within this 12-monthly phase of 2020. That's without bringing in the individual month that is a part of the umbrella of the whole year. So this is the profound knowledge of, numerology. It is a mathematical science. And when you've got this knowledge in front of you and you know what to look for, when you're looking at the sum total of the whole, but don't dismiss the individual number vibrations that are here. If you think about the double zeros here, look at those 2 zeros. That's really strong in terms of a spiritual higher message, because that's calling upon us to live and react and come from our ability to come together in peace, really, peaceful living conditions and circumstances to bring about that wonderful spiritual support too, for the healing, for the nurturing, for the well-being. And there is divine support whenever you see that strong doubling up of all those zeros there. If we wind the clock back to when the 2000s began, and we know we're in the 20th year of 2000, this century, like this time around 2020, the 2 that leads the way of the 2000s, of this time frame, since it began 20 years earlier, it's always been sitting there as its higher guidance, higher purpose, higher message, encoded within the very fabric of our life. Now these are mankind's vibrations, these are planetary vibrations that we're all part of, that we're all journeying within our own year of. For the more personal, individualized insight and knowledge is when we take the 2020 years vibrational message of what we've just spoken about, but apply that to your own birthday year's time frame and look at that within your layers there. So it's interesting to note that 4 of your core living needs, your home, food on the table, all those basic core living needs. You think about Mother Earth, what she supplies us and replenishes with. And that's what it's all about, and we're all learning to share, you see, through the doubling of the 2s. So share resources, share all these things. So I hope this shines a little light on the numerological knowledge for you when you're contemplating the learning of numerology for yourself and the understanding, and to look a little deeper into these layers here. And yeah, you'll be quite surprised at what you might find. So, well, that's the guidance, instructions today that I wanted to share with you, and I look forward to sharing in the next video. Bye for now.